You know, excuse me. Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner, classic lesson known classics. This is episode number 2708, Doubleshot number 2602. First up, we have the last official trade of these trades for Robin. And of course, while discussing a few extra issues of Robin, plus some issues of Batgirl. Now, this is Robin Volume 5, War of the Dragons. A little bit of backstory for me and this particular book. I have recently tried to get my hands on this book, but apparently for some reason it's out of print. It's not the only one. There's also last trade to collect check things over for Nightwing. Year one, year one, they got their printing recently, and of course the Tomasi era, that's got a new printing. Instead of having two trades, it's one. But Robin, for some reason, this is the last one. I do not know the reason why, because next time we see a new Robin trade is a Robin Compendium coming out in June. Yes, in about 2 months. And here's the thing about that book. It is mostly taking the first 3 volumes, combining them to one, and putting a Superman book and a story of Batman 8-page giant. And guess how much DC is charging for this compendium? $60. And I'm like, DC Comics, why in the world could you not release another volume for this book? Now here's the thing. Readers love Chuck Dixon. Yes, seriously. This is completely true. Chuck Dixon, in my honest opinion, has never technically wrote a bad story. Not the ones I've read anyways. A lot of his work has been great acclaim by fans and critics. The people who hate him are stupid editors. And the way he describes his podcast, it's like, oh, because he doesn't party, he doesn't hang out in karaoke with them. Like, give me one of his nights because we're going to karaoke. He's like, no, I like to freaking work. That's the kind of his podcast, and because Becky wouldn't go to these karaoke parties, they got a lot of his crap list, and apparently no one at DC want to hire him. Because he dares say no. And he kind of is on a blacklist, but not a regular blacklist you might think of. The way he describes it is that it's basically a crap list. And he did explain watch a recent episode of his podcast, listen to his podcast, where he did explain the whole thing with Bane Conquest. That was done. That limited series was done not because basically he wanted to do it. That was part of a legal agreement because of a lawsuit he had against DC Comics. Yep. Seriously. And he's also mentioned on his podcast that Marvel Comics do not pay him for any royalties at all. For reasons unexplained, he does not get royalties for anything related to Marvel Comics that he worked on. There's a scene he mentioned on his podcast a couple of times that there was a scene from the Thomas Jane Punisher movie where there was a torture scene ripped completely from a Chuck Dixon Punisher comic. Now, he has said this, but he mentioned that the writer of the movie had actually admitted it, and does he get thanked for this scene? Nope. And the most recent episode I listened to was his reaction to Tim Drake be outed as bi. Yeah, even he thinks this is stupid. Not just the readers, even he thinks it's stupid. Because even though technically he didn't create Tim Drake, he did help develop him. Though he was asked to do this by Danny O'Neill. I bring us like this on listen to his podcast. He's very interesting to listen to. I love listening to his stuff for him. I'm basically about 76 episodes of his like 190 episode podcast so far. Yeah. Listen to Chuck Dixon's podcast. You can get a lot of fascinating stories about the Bat Summits. He mentioned, those of you curious, Bat Summits. What the heck is a Bat Summit? Of course, basically, it leads to stuff like this, per se. I'll get to the comic, don't worry. The Bat Summits were mostly put basically the writers and editors come together of the various Bat books, occasionally bringing the artists to work on crossovers. That's most exactly what these were, and occasionally they go off for poker or just do whatever afterwards. And apparently, and he was also asked this too, was there plans to make Batman serialized like Superman was? Yes. There was plans to have Shadow the Bat, Batman, and Detective Comics all connected, and the plan was to have a round robin, or 1 month you have Chuck Dixon doing title, do all 3 books. Another month you have Alan Grant, and another month you have Doug Moak. Chuck Dixon spoke up at this meeting and stated this is a very stupid idea, given the fact that in all 3 books Batman is not drawn the same. He is very inconsistent in all 3 books. And the way he put it is that he and basically Graham Nolan have got a good flow. Doug will work with Kelly, and Alan Grant wants to do his own thing. And since they all disagree to do this, he called up the editor, Denny O'Neil, who was the Batgirl Bat editor at the time, called up, I think it was Paul Levitz. He mentioned it was Paul Levitz in the podcast. Called up and says, no, we're not going to do it because he basically turned down basically a higher salary because he liked working on Detective. So yes, the reason I worked Detective for so long because he liked working with Graham Nolan. That's simply the reason for it. This book, he did with Graham Nolan, worked with Tom Gremmett, and of course also Tom Lyle, who left the book to work on Spider-Man. Now, this book in particular, Chuck Dixon is the writer, obviously, with artwork by Tom Gremmett, Phil Jimenez, who still gets work for days. As a matter of fact, I think the most recent work for DC he did was actually Superman, which was really good, by the way. Steve Lieber, I don't know if he's really Stanley or not. Stuart Johnson, excuse me, Mike Wergo, who actually did do Spider-Man work too, and Rick Berggren, and Mike Parbick. The cover is done by Tom Gremmett, Ray Cressing, and Dave Moore. This book collects issues, basically, to the comics, 685 to 686. Robin, they call it Volume 2, technically it's Volume 4. Issues 1422, and Robin number 3. The first issue was Chaka, but I'm skipping over that because I reviewed Chaka already, so moving on from that. So issue 15, basically we have Looking for Clues. And clues, yeah, it's basically like, oh, is it Clue Master? Yep, it's all at the Clue Master and Stephanie. Yeah, there's a lot of that with Stephanie here where mostly put this whole story in these issues, mostly about Stephanie Brown and her terminal relationship with her father. At one point after he was arrested, basically that he's told to get 10 minutes with his guest, who turns out to be his own daughter, who proceeds to beat the living crap out of him. He's like, guard! And the guard's like, nah, man, you got 10 minutes. Basically, you probably deserve that beating from your own daughter. That's not exactly what he said, though, but I'm sure probably that's what he wanted to say. Yeah, plus see Rob with his new car, and yeah, that's kind of what the way these early issues, the first couple issues are, and of course you have, oh, Tim get kissed by Stephanie. Being very romantic, but being stopped by Clue Master's goons. And get it right, this red sports car that he had to sell when No Man's Land happened. Yep, in story, he had to sell the car because that was weird that Bruce Wayne gave him a car. This red car, which, by the way, he actually does have a driver's license. He actually had a license to drive this damn thing. Yes, technically this red car was his own Robin-mobile. Yep. Oh yeah, by the way, the Clue Master stuff, that is done just 2 issues. And then we have the whole thing with the War Dragon stuff. This is a 4-part story. It starts with Detective Comics 685, continues in Robin number 17, moves back over Detective for 686, and, well, it gets included in Robin number 17. It is mostly a Batman with Harry Bullock, big guest appearance in this book. It's mostly to do with the Dragons Gang, which were introduced in one of the Robin miniseries. That's kind of basically what this book is. That's kind of what the storyline is and how the trade. Actually, it's more like 1718, excuse me. Sorry about that. Yeah, misquote. Also, Huntress is here. Yes, Huntress is in the storyline. Yep. A character Chuck Dixon begged to use because no editor of DC Comics was interested in this character. And the only reason why, because her early book did not sell very well. Despite the fact Dixon liked the character, he was not big into the costume, but he did up the costume of the bleeder. Yeah. But this was technically the first time the Robin book had crossed over with Detective since Nightfall at this point in time. Yep. And of course is wrapped up by issue 18. Actually, wrapped up with the previous issue. 18 basically begins a brand new story arc. You see Robin climb up, like, take care of some other people, per se. Oh, gets it back to, yeah. And he works with Stephanie, obviously. Yeah, he also realized Ari, I think, was his first girlfriend. See him, like, climbing like up an elevator shaft. So, I love the artwork here. And then the issue 19 he bites a gladiator. Though, in a way, that's a cover anyways. Yeah, and then we have issue number 19. Oh boy. The general has come home. His mother's happy to see him. His siblings and his father are not happy to see him. Yes. So, yeah. So, he asked basically, is Live Tech? Yep. Excellent. Expect dinner at $1,800. Yes. A kid acts like a general. Yeah. It's a nice little standalone story. I like it. Does it continue next story? Actually, it does. Actually, it's a two... I think it's a multi-part that ends this book. I believe so. But yeah, there's also the end that comes right after issue 22. And then, of course, the end of issue 20. Ari has run away from home and basically snuck into Tim Drake's bedroom. Yes, his girlfriend, Ari, has snuck into his bedroom. Oh yeah, then we have next issue, issue 21. By the way, 21 is also the cover of the trade here. Opens up with ninjas! Yes! Ninjas! Yeah. Yeah, and of course, basically, like, next morning, of course, basically, Tim's maid wakes up and see a girl in Tim's bed. And Tim, being a complete gentleman, does not sleep in the same bed with her. He sleeps in the guest room. Now, I gotta admit, that's a complete honest gentleman for him. And so I was like, what's going on here? It's like, yeah, I drove her home, so she decided to come here and stay. Like, you're thinking, like, well. And of course, Dinah, Tim's future stepmom. Yep. Yeah, because basically Jack Drake fell for her and married her. Yeah, of course, Arya thinks she made a mistake, but look how basically she able to convince she able to go home and they talk it off for a bit, and of course Stephanie, of course, is still with them too. Yeah, and it's been obvious from the beginning Stephanie's had a thing for Tim, and these two do become a couple for a long time. Even to the current continuity, they're a couple. Until for some stupid reason they broke up and made Tim buy. Screw Megan Fitzwarren's book. Moving on. So, yeah, and then of course the book, and then we wrap up this little two-part story with ninja stuff. Nothing to do with the general per se. He just here is a quick return, and then we have an Elseworld story in the Robin third annual, where it's like Robin in feudal era Japan. But that's kind of what the story is. Really good. I thoroughly enjoyed the annual. The book itself is still really good. I'm going to give the Robin Volume 5 a 10 out of 10. Next up, we're going to do a few extra issues of Robin. First up, we're doing issue number 24, which the artwork is used by Aaron Lepsey. I've actually met him. Great guy. I met him when he was working on Wonder Woman. Yeah, this book is an Underwood release issue. Yep. It is somebody sold to Necron. It's just him being held hostage by this goo stuff. You're thinking, wait, it's like... You're about thinking, did I miss something? Well, I think I did. Let me take a look here. Oh, I forgot about 23. My mistake, because it's book end 23. So, yeah, basically, yeah. This is a quick two-parter of, like, Robin with Killer Moth. Along with it's basically Killer Moth being haunted. And he becomes Crudex for some reason. Yeah, and Necron is not in this. He's in this issue, but it's all about Killer Moth. This issue. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this is just a quick two-part deal with Unwritten Release. Really interesting idea, and of course, basically, we lead into issue 25, which is basically which has a guest appearance by Connor Hawke. Yep. First appearance of a character named Young L. It is a gangster who's only here for a fairly brief period of time. Yep. And this issue kills a character named Carl Rennick. Yeah, he was a character from the second miniseries. He just a bully, gets killed off in this issue. And then finally, issue 26, it's a standalone issue where he was out of 25, and that's mostly it. Really good stuff here. Loved it. I give these Robin issues a 10 out of 10. Next up we have is basically some Batgirl fun. Yep. Be right back. My apologies about that. So, basically we have Randy Ryder. It's no longer Kelly Pudick. Yeah, Kelly Pudick is off the Batgirl book. The reason I'm 50 because I seem like a place to stop anyway. So mostly put we have, excuse me, Brandy Raider. It is Anderson Galbraith with Jeff Parker as a penciler. It is mostly put a team-up story of the Cassandra Cain Batgirl and her BFF, Stephanie Brown, the girl who succeeded as Batgirl in 2009. Yep. And for 39, it's called Black Wind. It's basically her taking on some thugs and working with this other person here. Yep. And then we lead into a storyline which goes on a cruise next few issues, and we see her in bikini. Yeah, she looks really good in bikini. Where she meets Connor Kent. And this starts a brief romance between the two of them before Batman has to butt in and say, "No, you're not dating Superboy." For reasons. And of course, like, Batman tells Superman, "Call off your boy." And I'm like, what? Seriously. Like, here's the thing. What the heck does basically he have against Cassie being with Connor? Yes. Yeah, Batman is going to be a complete dick in this storyline. And sadly enough, Connor is only here for a few issues. He's here from 39 to basically about 42. That's kind of basically what the story wraps up. And actually about 41. And the reason why is because he goes to Teen Titans right after that. Yep. Issue 42, it's basically her versus Dr. Death. Yep. Yeah. Dr. Death. Old school Batman villain is in these issues. Yeah, apparently they decided to bring him back for reasons unexplained here. He's here from 44, and he's also come back in 49 and 50. Yeah, I'm not sure why, but that's basically what they did with him. Also, we also have a replacement writer on these issues. Yes. So Anderson Galbraith was only here for one issue. And then he's replaced by Dylan Hodricks. The first comic hero was Bizarro Comics in 2001. And he was the writer up until the War Game stuff. Though, he's pretty much the writer from 39 basically up until 57 was basically the War Game stuff. And then basically in 43, she's with Batman, still dealing with Dr. Death, taking some person called Black Wind. Yeah. Who first printed issue 39, he gets killed off by issue 44. Yeah, he's is basically in the way the main villain of these issues. And in 45, we have a cover appearance by Barbara Gordon in the Batgirl costume, basically in flashback. It's a soul thing, and, well, it's an okay issue with Rick and Nardi in the artwork. 46. The Lost Girls. Yep. And of course, dealing with a guest appearance by Black Canary, basically in a way loosely tying into the events of Birds of Prey. 47 mostly is just Batgirl versus the Doll Man. For like one issue. 48. Might as well be dead. They got some slavers in this one. with Jean-Jacques Stokely on the artwork. The end of everything. Yeah, this is where she confronts Dr. Death for these 2 issues, and that's pretty much it here. Also, she also gets a chance to fight Batman. Yeah, then chance of fighting him in issue number 50. Yep. Yep. And basically they reconcile. So basically her being fired for being Batgirl is very brief. But yeah, that's most of exactly what happens here. But that's going to be pretty much it. Really good stuff here. And it's a shame, in 2 years after this issue, this book gets canceled due to being moderately successful. Yes, that's the rumor I heard. The reason the book got canceled. Because it was successful as DC wanted. It was moderately successful. Book was good. It wasn't a bad issue as a book. I'll discuss more about this later, but yeah. So pretty much that particular view. I'm going to give these issues a 10 out of 10 because other issues were really good. Yep. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and watch Moonlight Fantasy next. Okay, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications, and do not hit this like. Bye.